Before we get on with this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video.
Boris, proper beat in the last few months, Partygate. I wouldn't be one for arguing that those who set the rules shouldn't follow them. It'd be rather hypocritical, wouldn't it? But doesn't Boris bashing sort of leave us at risk? Don't we have to be careful what we wish for? I remember there was a time with Theresa May where, she's studious, she's I'm sure very hardworking. I'm sure she reads all the briefs that Boris doesn't. And in many ways, she maybe she was better than him. I know we'd all like to forget about what happened just around that sort of Brexit period because she probably didn't do a great job. But in the end, he won this election because he's charismatic. You call him a cheerleader, and I don't know what happens. He goes.
No, you're quite right. You're quite right.
Liz Truss.
No, you're quite right.
I've seen her twice.
No, let's keep Boris there. Let's make the state bigger. Let's put taxes up. Let's reduce incentives. Let's go for net zero. Deindustrialise the whole of Britain. Anything else? I mean, how is this guy even vaguely conservative? What connection does Boris have to any self-employed small business man or woman in this country?
We have a similar opinion, but what is the alternative?
I don't know.
I mean, Corbyn
No,
was...
I don't know.
He was within a cat's whisker of
Not quite.
Theresa... Well, I mean, Theresa May...
I mean, she was so useless.
She was.
She was so useless.
Because she didn't have that popularity. Maybe is Rishi going to...
Well, Rishi would be
What's going to happen there?
Rishi would be even more of a social democrat than Boris.
Well, this is the problem. So what do you end up with?
In 1975, Airey Neave, very distinguished man, captured by the Germans at Dunkirk, Calais actually, escaped from Dunkirk, escaped from Colditz, did a home run from Colditz, quite a bloke. Airey Neave was going around the House of Commons in 1975 saying, please sign this piece of paper for Margaret, because if you don't, there won't be a contest against Ted Heath. And from nowhere, on power of argument, she came through and won the contest. Who would have thought little John Major would have won when we had the contest in 1990? I certainly didn't believe that he would, and he did. In 2005, the bookmakers had stopped taking money on David Davis. He was that far heavily odds on to beat David Cameron. And yet one speech, everything changed. So it's not obvious at the moment who the cheerleader would be. What I can tell you is when the contest comes, and Boris will not lead them into the next election.
No.
That isn't going to happen. What I can tell you is the next leadership election within the Conservative Party is going to be a sort of existential battle. Is it going to become a Conservative Party in the sense that, it really believes in free market economics as opposed to global corporatism, which I think is sort of, to me, at the core, because if you believe in the free market economics and you believe that small guys and small women are actually rather important to build momentum, and you believe in the freedom and supply side reforms that allow them, it actually leads to almost everything else that goes on.
Sort of Thatcherite thinking.
It's Thatcherite, Reaganite type of thinking. Or it becomes a Social Democrat Party. And it becomes a Social Democrat Party, which it has become.
Is that because... Are they not a product of their own environment? Is that not because...
To some extent, we're back to where I was. To some extent, we're back to where I were, to where we were earlier. A group of journalists and politicians.
The group think.
Yeah, very much so. And if we finish up with a Social Democrat leader of the Conservative Party, who in policy... I mean, can you believe Keir Starmer's now talking about cutting taxes? Labour are the party of low taxes. I mean, you couldn't make this stuff up.
Some taxes, and then...
But we could finish up where we were. I stood as leader of UKIP against Miliband, Clegg and Cameron in 2015. There were no policy differences between them. Oh, they pretended there were. But frankly, there were no fundamental policy differences between them at all. And the danger is we go back to that kind of politics. The danger is that Brexit, which we hoped and believed, many of us, would bring a new kind of politics, actually takes us back to exactly where we were before. A sort of just too many people who are too privileged, who are too part of this whole Oxbridge, London bubble. And if we go back to that, then there'll be mass abstentionism. mass abstentionism, and maybe there'll be another insurgency. Maybe it'll be reform. Maybe it'll be somebody else. I don't know, but it would happen.
So if you want to watch more videos, you can watch them here or here. Remember to like and subscribe. It's been Mark Homer, over and out.